What is something ancient that only an internet veteran can remember? Alta Vista. Winamp skins. When a TV show would say to check out their website at http www. Having to spell it out every time. Weird little squares with blue and red on them that would sort of take the place of graphics until the graphics would actually load. The text would be visible but the graphics wouldn't be there yet. When it was called the information superhighway. Making web pages using simple HTML. What does everyone think about that anti-work Fox News interview? It is one of those classic Reddit moments that will be posted again and again. I think it's funny, but not surprising, how the mods of the sub are trying to censor it. For those who have no idea what everyone is talking, here you go. https www.youtube.com/watch v = 3 Yumi FYBMNC. Here is the interview that took place. Watch then answer. Edit. Our anti-work has also officially set their community to private. They are getting so much backlash and cannot currently handle it. This day has really been a fall from grace for them. It seems. Anti-work mod not putting in enough work for the interview is quite funny considering the subname. Fox didn't need to attack or argue. They found a human meme. The person didn't even make their bed to be seen on national TV. The jokes wrote themselves. Dude. I think they just threw everyone out and made it private. Edit. Apparently everyone from anti-work is going to work reform now to regroup. What's your country known for? Tartan and bagpipes. Pyramids. For the last time we do not live in fucking pyramids, okay? Spiders. Snakes. Lizards. Mosquitoes. Flies. Crocodiles. Sharks. Ants. Toads and cunts. Lots of cunts. A failed artist. Chocolate, fries and beer. Banks. Castles. A very specific kind of molten cheese and a popular destination for our neighboring countries too. Buy alcohol, cigarettes and coffee because it's cheaper. Pilots. What's the scariest stuff you've seen while flying? My dad told me a story from a few years ago that happened while flying a 737 somewhere in Nevada. I think on the way back to Toronto. It was later in the evening, so you couldn't see too much. But all of a sudden to the left of the plane my dad saw a really bright ball of light, I guess you could say, moving really fast across the sky. My dad and his co-pilot had no clue what it was. And they could hear other pilots nearby calling it in over the radio and asking what it was. Eventually it flew past and disappeared into the distance. A few days later my dad found out that what he saw was a missile launched by a USN submarine. I wonder how many passengers thought they saw a UFO. Lol. A skydiver about 20 yards off my wing was flying a 172 into an uncontrolled field that I've flown into 100 times before. Not knowing that after a 5-year ban in skydiving there, they were allowing it on a case-by-case request while flying in. Calling my position. I hear, skydiver in the air. My first thought was I hope they aren't this direction, and then there he was. I had this image of him going through my prop. After that thought, oh God, please don't let me kill this guy. Then I turned to WTF just happened in. How did the pilot not call this out better? He flew off completely. Come to find out the pilot was flying his friend to skydive to his local field, then departed to his home airport where they came from. I never did find the guy. Power lines directly in front of me at night that weren't charted and were exactly at helicopter grabbing altitude. Finally, something I can answer. This actually happened on my first time flying with no instructor on board. Just doing a couple laps around the traffic pattern. Took off. Laps number 1 and number 2 went just fine. Nailed a couple radio calls. Got that awesome feeling of, yeah, I got this. But lap number 3 was fine until I was setting up my final approach to land. And the GTN 750. Basically a fancy navigation, radio, pseudo-radar system. Warned me about a Cessna 1 mile out at the same altitude. Ignored it, since I already had the plane in sight and verified with the control tower that he was landing on the runway parallel to mine. Lo and behold, this dude zips under me by about 200 to 300 feet. Which sounds like a good amount of room, but is actually butt-clenchingly close in a busy airspace like this. I should have applied full throttle and circled back around to try again. But the other plane was clear of me before the startle factor even wore off. This was made especially dangerous by the fact that the plane I was flying was low wing. Can't see under me. And the other plane was high wing. He couldn't see above him. So, neither of us could see each other, and the tower yelled at the guy to get out of my way. And I landed safely. Smoke in the cockpit when I landed. Thankfully it was when I landed. Had to push the airplane. Small Cessna. Off the runway. Almost had 2 mid-air collisions. One due to a new pilot not being where he should be. Another due to control telling me an aircraft was at me 11 o'clock when really it was at me 2 o'clock. And the coolest was a meteor that burned up directly in front of me. Same altitude. Straight ahead. I have no idea how far away it was. But it was bright. And so pretty. Went through a spectrum of colors as it burned. Not a pilot, but I was in the bathroom when the pilot came over the radio with a quick announcement that we were about to have turbulence and to buckle up. Everyone sat down, including the stewardesses, and buckled up. Everyone but me, who was in the process of taking a massive shit. The kind of shit you don't want to have during turbulence. Now I've been in turbulence. It's rough. This was something else. I somehow, by all that was mighty, finished my shit and completed the post-shit paperwork, and flushed. Didn't wanna chance it. When the turbulence hit. To say I hit everything is an understatement. I bounced off the ceiling. Hit the floor. Back up. Face to the toilet. It was hell, and I just kept my face covered and I protected my head as best I could. After a bit of luck, I managed to get myself wedged under the toilet, and I stayed there till the bumpy ride ended. I left the bathroom to some laughter. And a lot of concern. See, for them in their seats it was fine. Until they heard screaming in the bathroom. And loud crashing noises followed by dread silence. They all thought I died. Haha. Edit. Forgot to mention that I didn't get to pull my pants up either. I did the whole ride with my pants around my ankles. What is one thing you underestimated the severity of until it happened to you? Threw my back out a bit last year for the first time. Damn near immobile. Getting dumped by someone you love with no explanation, and they just ghost you and go on with their lives. Getting bedbugs. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. It was a disruption in nearly every facet of my life. Car crash. Specifically a head-on collision. Changed my life. I dream of it. I get shivers on the road randomly. When a light post or a guard rail reminds me of what it felt like to be flung into it going 60 miles per hour. I think about how I should have died. And why I didn't. I think about it all the time. And it happened almost 8 years ago now. The grief of losing a parent. I lost my dad in August, and yesterday at the cinema watching Spider-Man: No Way Home. I burst into tears 3 times because I realized I couldn't remember what my dad's voice sounded like anymore. Worrying about money all the time fucking sucks. What do you think about Neil Young wanting his music off of Spotify because of Joe Rogan? I'm amazed he owns his own music still. Ain't singin' for Pepsi. Ain't singin' for Coke. Won't sing for nobody. Make me look like a joke. Neil Young. From This Note's for You. I think he has the right to choose not to support Spotify or continue to allow them to play his music. It is a bit of an empty threat. But I don't think he cares. He doesn't need Spotify and they probably don't need him. But there are principles involved. And he has a right to stand by his. Much respect to Mr. Young, he can do whatever he wants. Spotify can do whatever they want as well, being a private company, and respect his decision if it doesn't break contract. Not the first time two public figures disagree on a topic. Won't be the last. All parties, Spotify, Rogan, and Young, can do whatever they want. I think it is hilarious this is even news. He can do what he likes. Just like Joe Rogan is free to say what he pleases, just like Spotify can do what they want with their platform.
Subscribe, my brothers.